Thumbs up. Here's two.
I'm gonna give you my thumb up.
I want to give you a thumbs up.
You did. That's better than flipping me off, I guess.
I guess so.
So go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Shawn Drover of Megadeth. We're here on the Mayhem tour. It's mayhem every day.
Is it really?
No.
No. It's like, come on. It's not that bad.
It's hot every day.
It's summertime. Come on now. And it's not cool anywhere.
We need to do this in the winter. That's
I said the same thing.
Same venues outside winter.
There can only be one stage, then we can't be on the side stages.
True. All right. We'll
it's really in the
scratch that
snow.
idea.
Yeah, it'll be in the snow. So Megadeth has been around for a long time, and you've been in the band since 2004.
Yes.
So how do you keep it real every day and making it fresh so you don't feel like you're just going through the motions out there?
Because it's still fun. After 27 years, I mean, this is what I was put on this earth to do: play music. And I never thought. Well, I hope that we get to this level. I don't know, So the fact that I get to do this and make a living off it and play for big crowds all the time, how can that get old? This is what I aspire to do. So I suppose if I aspired to be something else and somehow I landed doing this and I hated it, it could become tedious. But this is a blast for me. It's fun. We have so many friends in different bands, and we get to tour with amazing bands around the world. And yeah, I can't see this ever being tedious. Not for me anyway. Maybe for some other people, but not for me.
So why Mayhem? I mean, at a band at your level, you really don't have to do a summer tour where you're out in the 100-degree heat every day.
No, but why not? This is a different opportunity. We're playing with a somewhat different demographic of bands. It's more of a widespread. There's some real extreme bands. There's some more mainstream bands. We kind of get put into the middle of all that, and I think that's good because if we could potentially just say Godsmack or Disturbed, for instance, maybe some of their fans, and we ask the question every day. Dave will say, how many people have seen Megadeth before? A lot of them go, raise their hand, and some of them don't. So ultimately, if we can get some of those people to come on our side and say, hey, I saw Megadeth, I thought they were a really good band, I'm going to check out their catalog or whatever, and ultimately, if we can get new fans from that, that's a good thing. To me, that you can never have enough fans.
True.
There's kids, constantly, being exposed. Young kids are being exposed to this kind of music, and if they can get exposed to us, then that's a good thing.
What I noticed, I went to a show in Baltimore where it was Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer.
Yep.
It was great to see that it's multi-generational now.
Right.
So you have the little kids being brought by their parents now to the shows and introducing them to the bands that their parents like. And it's nice to see that happening.
Absolutely. I know that my son is 20 now. He's an adult, but he was. That's the next generation of kids, being exposed to this kind of music. So, I mean, ultimately it's a great thing. I mean, they're exposed, of course, newer bands and more current bands. The fact that they can be exposed to a band that's been around for 26, 27 years, we're really fortunate, as I get hit by a bug, we're really fortunate to be in that position, where we're still valid, we're still viable at this point. Not everybody can say that, so we're quite fortunate.
So you're working on a new album. Is it done now?
As of yesterday, it's mixed.
Ooh.
So it's
Release date yet?
I'm hearing November 1st. I think I just heard. Yeah, I think it's November 1st. It could change, of course, but I think it would land around that area. That's the latest word that we got. So.
And you worked with Johnny K on this one. So how is it working with Johnny K?
I loved it. He's he's worked with Disturbed and a lot of other acts. We hit it off right away. We did drum tracks first, of course, so I was first in line to do my tracks. And right off the bat, we were on the same page, what our vision was musically and how we wanted to execute the record and how we wanted all that stuff. So he's, when going in with a new producer, you're not always sure. All you can go about is based on what you've heard or what someone has told you. So we went in there with the best of hope, the highest of hopes, and luckily for us, it really exceeded my expectations of how good this record could be with him. It's really turned out. We're really jacked up about it. The record really turned out well, and we heard a couple of the last two mixes yesterday, in the dressing room. So sonically, I think it sounds really good, and we're really happy about it. Happy with the songs, the way they turned out. He was a big part of doing this record, so he's a great producer and a great person. So.
Now, I was reading that in other interviews has been stated that the sound on this new album is more modern sounding.
I don't know what that. You know what?
So how do it's like? How do you do that still?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What? To me, it sounds organic. I mean, to me, it almost. drum-wise, it almost sounds a bit like older stuff. It's not as God, how do you even say? You know, a lot of mastering these days. A lot of bands, and I'm not saying we're part of this at all, but I hear a lot of bands where the music is so maxed out and compressed when it's mastered that it's almost, you almost get digital distortion. And we're not part of that, of course, but you know, it's so in your face. You know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, in the 80s and 70s, you know, records were quieter. If you wanted to crank it, you just turn the volume up in your stereo, right?
Difference between digital and doing it
right.
on
So,
the
but
tape.
I think our record is sonically, I think it almost sounds like a bit like some older stuff, which not too far back, but you know what I mean, even in the 90s or 80s or whatever. So, you know what? The bottom line is, it's a good sounding record. Whatever word you want to use to describe it, modern, classic, whatever, it sounds good. That's the bottom line. So we're happy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So one last question for this: is there any goals that you still want to reach? I mean, with a band that you've been with so long, and then the band itself has been a band for so long.
I don't know. I mean, just to keep ascending. I mean, one thing we're doing, all bands are doing, is we're combating with the industry the internet piracy crap that's going on. So the fact is, you know, all bands are selling less and less and less. We want to sell more and more and more. Now, how do you do that? You know what? We can't do it. We can't conquer the problem on our own. Ultimately, I think that's something I would like to see happen in the next 5 years or so. Is somebody coming up with a remedy for all this, whether it's coming up with a new format that maybe isn't a compact disc. Somehow we seem to survive in the 70s without compact discs, right? Mm-hmm. We had vinyl and 8-tracks. Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody was buying music back then.
You bought an album. You didn't buy a song.
Wow, what a concept, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't think a lot of these kids know any different. I don't think they're doing it with malicious intent. Maybe some of them are, but I think most of them are not. I think, oh, here's the new album. Okay, go on this torrent site. All right, cool, free. I got it. Right. So I don't think a lot of the kids invest enough time into the band, like, you know, because they got it for free. If they don't like it, if they listen to it, that sucks. You know, if I bought a record back in the day, I mean, I went home in the train and, you know, looked at the vinyl and looked at all the credits and the artwork and just couldn't wait to play it and just listen to the, you know, not a hit single. When I got a Van Halen album, I listened to the whole friggin' album. It wasn't one tune. It was, you know, you absorbed the record. And I think it would be cool to get back to that, where, you know, you would have to purchase the product, you know, because you can't. That's my kind of thought on it.
Right.
So we need to come up with some different kind of format. And that'll probably piss some people off, but who cares? I don't care. It pisses me off that people steal our music. You know what I mean?
No,
so I'm not trying to be, you know, mean about any of this, but this is the reality of it. It's affected the whole industry. So this is taking a negative turn, hasn't it?
No, but
that's the realism of it. You know, I wish that would stop.
I mean, you put an album out and you put however many songs you put on an album, but you put it out as an album.
Right.
You don't just decide every month to release a single. The album is to be heard in its entirety.
Right.
And that's
a real
true.
problem. It's been a problem now for over a decade, and I wish at some point someone could come up with a remedy for it. That's, you know, where it'll go back to what it was. You know, if you like the music, you go and buy it. You know, download a file and all this kind of stuff. It's very convenient, right? Mm-hmm. That's the cool thing about it. It's so convenient, but at the same time, a lot of people take that convenience and get it for free instead of saying, cool, I like that song, I'm going to go buy the record. So that's kind of a drag.